Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Valkyrie Basketball on BFST Events. We're here in Florence, Montana, as the Valkyries get ready to take on the Lady Falcons of Florence. And your pregame brought to you by HisBiz Paint and Renovate. HisBiz specializes in quality that looks and lasts, whether it's painting interior, exterior, or renovating. HisBiz will get the job done in a timely manner. Visit hisbiz.us or call Hoagie at 270-1998 for all your paint, renovate, or plowing needs. And go Vikes, thanks to Hoagie and HisBiz for sponsoring Bigfork Athletics. Well, the Lady Falcons on the season are 9-7. The Valkyries are 8-5. Heading into this ballgame. Had a chance to sit down and talk with the head coach of the Valkyries, Courtney Gunlock, before the game, and this is what she had to say about last week's ballgame against Loyola and the upcoming game tonight.
Talking with the head coach of the Bigfork Valkyries, getting ready to take on the Florence Lady Falcons down in Florence. Your last game we knew was going to be tough, played against Loyola. I thought you guys played a great first half. You went down by 2. Talk about that game and what you guys did right in the first half and maybe what you need to improve on the second half against a team like Loyola that can bring it over into this game against Florence.
Yeah, I thought we played great defense the first half. I think we held them to 19 points, if I remember right. And we took pretty good care of the ball. And we blocked out well. We fatigued a lot in the second half, and it was very noticeable by the fourth quarter. We were battling some illness. A couple players weren't feeling really well, and you could definitely tell in the second half that it was starting to affect them. One of the biggest things, though, that I think hurt us that game is we did not score outside the key. And so we definitely need to pick up our outside game.
Yeah, and I kind of noticed that. Yeah, I mean, it was 19-17 at halftime, only down by 2. Lainey Walker went down in that game. That kind of changed things a little bit and just tried to come back. But I thought you guys played really good in the first half. And, you know, and one thing I did see was that didn't look like Isabella Sanesi was getting any opportunities to really get an open look like she usually does.
Yeah, absolutely. Loyola is a very, very fast team, and it's very hard for her to get her shot off. But we did have some looks; they just didn't go down. But yeah, we got to find ways to get Izzy open for some shots.
So talk about tonight's opponent, Florence Lady Falcons. You haven't played them this year, so you're coming down to their place. What do you guys got to do in this ball game against the Falcons?
Definitely they have size on us, so we have to block out. We got to make sure that they're not getting second and third and fourth shots. We also need to obviously take care of the ball and just play our game and push the ball up. We need to transition better. I think we can beat them up the floor and get some easy buckets.
Yeah, it looked like, you know, Ashton pushing the ball along with Emma. Any one of your guards. Audrey can push the ball and get up the court and take advantage of that in tonight's ball game. On the season, Florence, I looked at their record. They're 9-7 overall. You guys are 8-5, so you've got 5 games, including this one, left to play, and looks like they have 2 after this. Talking about that, a division rival, so you maybe see them in divisional, so it's kind of a precursor, Loyola, Florence, and maybe other teams. Talk about Florence versus Loyola. What do you think the difference is between those two?
They just play a very different style of ball. Florence likes to pound it inside with their big girls, and they have some outside shooting. Loyola definitely has great speed, and they pressure the ball all night long. So I think they're both great, very good, strong teams, though.
Yeah, I think I look at Loyola being a little bit higher. I mean, they have that really good returning team they can really run, especially if Lainey Walker is healthy and playing for them. So with that, this is our last broadcast of the regular season. So tomorrow you take on the Lady Trojans, but I want to kind of talk about, I know Troy is not as gifted talent-wise, so you guys still got to take care of business. And next week you play a couple A teams in Ronan and then Polson on the road. But the key game of the season comes down to next Saturday, senior night at home, taking on Thompson Falls and the Lady Blue Hawks. That's going to be a battle for first place in the division.
Yeah, absolutely. It potentially is going to be for the first place conference, and it is going to be a battle. You know, I didn't think we played very well against them when we played there, so we really are excited to play them again, and hopefully play our game and play a lot better.
Well, I think so, yeah. Especially, I thought 3 quarters you guys played well, and that 4th quarter kind of got away. And they like to run a little bit too. You got to control that. So tonight, I'm looking for another good game out of you guys. As always, a little more running and maybe get some of those outside shooters to hit a couple of threes and loosens things up in the middle for Ansley Edgerton, you know, 6 foot now. She should be able to dominate the middle of that paint.
Yeah, with her bun, I think she is about 6 foot. But yeah, we do. We need to get outside shooting because we need to get it opened up in there so that our post can get the ball and move and get some shots. Well,
I'm looking forward to the game tonight, and good luck. As always, hope you guys always play well, and good luck in that game tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back to Florence, Montana's head coach Courtney Gunlock on the pregame show. And about 3 minutes till tip-off here between the Valkyries and the Lady Falcons. Again, the Lady Falcons are 9-7, where Bigfork is 8-5. A non-conference basketball game, but a Western B possible matchup coming down the road when the Western B opens up the end of the month. And just to let you know, I did receive permission from the Montana High School Association and Mr. Mark Beckham. Thank you for allowing us to broadcast the game. So if you can't make it down there, it might be an odd time for a game. We will have all the action for you live from Hamilton, Montana. And that gets underway the 27th, 28th, and 29th down in Hamilton for the Western B Divisionals. And let's get your starting lineups, first of all. Brought to you by the Montana Athletic Club. Hey, what's keeping you from getting fit? It's February now. Discounted guest passes, personal training, Pilates, much more. All the equipment and amenities there at the Montana Athletic Club at 850 Whole Drive in Bigfork, 837-2582. Doug and Nancy Mellon, thank you for sponsoring Bigfork Athletics. Well, first of all, for the Lady Falcons, it will be number 1, a 5'2" sophomore guard, Colby Wood. At forward is a 5'8" senior. Number 3, Emma Stensrud, who seems like he's been playing here forever. Kylie Kovacs, a 5'9" post, sophomore, number 13. A 5'6" sophomore guard, number 22, Cassidy Yeoman. And at 5'5", a freshman forward, number 24, Josie Lewis, for head coach Dwayne Zeiler. And assisted by Scott March, Keith Chambers, and Jewel Zeiler for Florence. The usual suspects for the Valkyries. It'll be the 5'7" sophomore guard, number 11, Emma Barrett. A captain. A Audrey Benz, number 14, the 5'5" junior guard, a defensive specialist. And number 24 is a 6' post senior, number 24, Ansley Edgerton. Captain, number 5'5", guard forward senior, number 40, Ashton McAnally. And Edgerton also a captain. And also a 5'7" senior guard forward, number 33, Isabella Santa Steven, a danger from the outside when she's on, has one of the best shots And one of the prettiest shots you'll ever see from three-point range. Got to get it going tonight for head coach Courtney Gunlock, assisted by Jasper Torres and Brandy Couture. Earlier action, if you didn't catch that, in girls JV action, a heartbreaker, lost in overtime 53-50 to the Lady Falcons in a heck of a game. Also, a freshman boys 61-22 winner over Florence. In JV action, a three-point hit by Florence with about under 10 seconds to go. Vikings got the ball, had 3.1 to go, and able to hit the rim by Gilliard, but not drain it, and they lose that one 55-22. And then the Vikings just taking on the chin, playing without Colt Thornes tonight, and lost by 16, 60-44. So, tonight's officials, Chris Anderson, Richie Borden, and Jake Jessup. And the starting lineup, again brought to you by the Montana Athletic Club scoreboard. Tip-off tonight, the opening tip brought to you by Gilliard Painting, interior, exterior painting, and staining, pressure washing, parking lot striping, property caretaking, Chip Gilliard, 1080 Swan Horseshoe Drive in Bigfork, 210-7794, or chipgilliard@yahoo.com. We'll stand. I'm not sure they're going to.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineups first for the visitors from
they're just going to do the starting lineups, usual, just like we do it. The lights will come down, and Falcons in their burgundy striped white home jerseys. The Valkyries in their dark black with red numbers, a little bit of blue trim tonight. Anna Berth, Audrey Benz, the junior. So both of those should be back for Bigfork next year.
6.25 senior, number 24, Ansley
Edgerton for Bigfork. The post at 6 foot. With that bun, I think she's 6 foot. McAnally, the birthday girl for Bigfork. The guard, the key, I think, very calm senior and bringing up the court. And another key is Isabella Santa Stephen in her three-point shooting tonight for the Valkyries. And they'll get ready to introduce the Florence Lady Falcons as they'll be introduced tonight. The pep band and the drum line here at Florence. We'll see how, we haven't seen these guys play yet, so it'll be interesting. The Valkyries can come out and do what they need to do. Stensrud, the senior, who's been around for a long time here, obviously playing for Florence. Kovac as well at 5'9", just a sophomore. Yeoman is sophomore. So 3 seniors on the Falcons lineup. So getting ready to wait for tip-off. I'll turn the lights back on, and we'll get going here from Florence, Montana, as the Valkyries take on the Lady Falcons of Florence. This is James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes in the back with you. 406-270. Let me know you're listening out there, because that says we're live, and there's somebody on there listening. Now, I'll give you a shout out if you text me at 406-270-7384. So Edgerton will tip it up against Stensrud. The Valkyries heading left to right in your dial, and Falcons right to left. tipped it directly to Ashton, Benz, and Benz feeds Barrett. Barrett misses the layup and rebounded by Florence. 22. Yeoman gives it up to Lewis. Lewis will feed it out in the corner to Wood. Wood back to Yeoman. Back to Wood. Over to Lewis. Lewis looking out for Stenzer. Stenzer look at the drive baseline, goes down and get it tied up. Held ball between Barrett and Stenzer. And it should be Falcons basketball, and it is, the Lady Falcons. Inbounding is Wood. Wood gets it out to Yeoman. Yeoman will give it up to Stenzer. Long three-point shot, thought about it. Thought better of it. In the corner to Yeoman. Back out to Wood. Wood will give it over to number 13, Kovac. Kovac back to Wood. Wood dribbling over, gives it over to Lewis. Lewis trying to kick it in. Get a baseline driving is Stenzer, and Stenzer goes down hard and grabbing at her ankle. And we'll see as the coaches come out. Head coach Dwayne Zeiler. And the foul is going to be on number 11, Emma Barrett. Her first. And first team on the Valkyries. And injury timeout. Stenzer will have to go out. Checking in number 50, Trista Williams, a 5'11" freshman post for Florence. It'll be Florence basketball underneath on the far side under their own basket. Inbounding is Wood. Wood gets it out, tipped. Santa Stephen tips it away, and Benz comes up with a basketball, driving up the right side. Looking to drive baseline is feeds it out to Edgerton, and stolen away there by Yeoman. Yeoman quickly up the court, gets shut down, knocked away, out, and picked up by Lewis. Lewis in the corner. She'll give it over to Yeoman. Yeoman with the basketball. Out to Lewis. Back out to Wood. Wood on the left wing for the Lady Falcons. In the corner to Williams. Williams baseline. Feeds it up. Shot up. There by number 22. Yeoman misses it. And Bigfork comes up with the basketball. And a personal foul called on Yeoman as she went after the rebound. That's her first personal and first team foul. No score, 6:33 to go here on your Harvest Foods scoreboard. Benz will inbound to Barrett. Barrett to the backcourt. Dribbling up left hand, crosses the timeline. Looking to set it up for the Valkyries. Barrett feeds it up, gives it up. Short is the shot by Edgerton. That'll be stronger. Yeoman with the basketball. Dribbles up left side. Picked up by Santa Stephen. Three-point shot on the way by Wood from the top of the key is good. And the Falcons strike first, 3-0. McAnally into Benz. Gives it over to Barrett. Barrett to the left side. Launches up a three-pointer off the rim and no good. And Wood will come up the rebound. Quickly up the court is Wood. And she'll look to set it up. On the right wing is Wood. Knocked away by Barrett. Wood comes back up with it. And Lewis looking to drive. Right there is McAnally. Barrett knocks it away. And off the foot of McAnally, it'll remain Florence basketball. 5:40 to go on your Gideon Painting scoreboard. 3-0 the Falcons lead the Valkyries early. Wood inbounding. Gives it up. And block there. Yeoman's shot blocked underneath. Can't quite catch who the Valkyrie that did that. And Wood will bring it in on the near side for Florence. Inbound. She'll give it up to Kovacs. Up underneath to Williams. Williams goes up with a shot blocked, but she's fouled. And she'll get two. That foul's at number 40. Ashton McAnally, her first and second team foul. And to the line, shoot two, Trista Williams for the Lady Falcons. 5:34 to go here in quarter number one. First shot up. Those are off the rim, off the backboard, and good. And she'll get one more. So Lady Falcons lead 4-0 on your Gideon Painting scoreboard. Williams, one more free throw shot. Up and good. And a 5-0 lead. McAnally into Benz. Benz in the backcourt. Will bring it across the timeline. In the corner, Santa Stephen will feed McAnally. McAnally up off the backboard, misses her shot. And Kovacs comes up with a rebound, just a little bit hard by McAnally, and Wood will bring it across the timeline. Wood guarded by Santa Stephen. Out near half court is Wood looking to set something up. Moving over to the left wing, kicks it into Williams. Williams looking underneath Kovacs. Back out to Wood in the left corner. Kicks it over to Lewis. Lewis in the right corner. And Yeoman with the basketball. Yeoman will dribble out. Gives it up to Lewis. Lewis underneath. Feeds Kovacs. In and out. Can't quite make it. And McAnally comes up with a rebound, but she's fouled there by number 13, Kylie Kovacs. That is her first personal, second team foul on the Lady Falcons. And Bigfork basketball underneath with 4:45 to go. Inbound to Benz. Benz in the backcourt. Dribbling a cup across the timeline. Gives it up to Barrett. Barrett on the right wing will give it in the corner. Santa Stephen. Got it by Kovacs. Back to Barrett. Barrett looking to drive. Gives it over to Edgerton. Edgerton, baseline shot off the rim, no good. Santa Stephen fighting for the rebound. And that'll be the second personal on Ashton McAnally. Second one on McAnally, third team foul. It'll be Florence basketball. Inbounding is Yeoman. Yeoman will get it into Wood. Back to Yeoman in the backcourt. Pressure put on by the Valkyries. Back to Wood. Over to Yeoman. Yeoman in the front court, looking to drive. Cut off by Nadeau. Nadeau in the ball game. And a three-point shot on the way by Cassidy Yeoman is good. And an 8-0 lead early by the Lady Falcons. And a 30-second timeout taken by the head coach. Courtney Gunlock. 30-second timeout, 4:13 to go. Here in quarter number one, the Valkyries trail 8-0 on the Montana Athletic Club scoreboard. And just haven't had any good looks. 21, checking in the ballgame, just beats the buzzer to get in. That is Madison Chapius. So Chapius, Santa Stephen, Edgerton, Nadeau, and Benz now in the ballgame. As McAnally has two early and has to take a seat. And Barrett, sitting down. And Benz gives it over to Madison Chapius on the right wing. Back to Benz. Benz top of the key. Gives it up to Edgerton. Chapius looking to drive. He's at baseline to Nadeau. Nadeau looking. Going to feed it over to Santa Stephen on the left wing. Out to Benz. Over to Chapius. Chapius looking to drive underneath. Feeds it right there to Nadeau. Nadeau blocked there by Williams. Out of bounds. It'll be Rain Bigfork basketball underneath on the near side. Number 3, Emma Stensrud, who went down early with the lower leg injury, comes back in for Florence. The senior 5'8" forward. Benz looking to get inbounds. Gives it up to Edgerton. Edgerton puts a shot up off the backboard. Is pushed. And she'll go to the line to shoot two. Fouls at number 13. That's Kylie Kovacs. I believe that is her second and third team foul. And Ansley Edgerton goes to the line to shoot two. First shot up. Rims it in and out. No good. And 24, Josie Luzis will return, replacing Kovacs for the Lady Falcons. Valkyries yet to get on the scoreboard. And one more free throw for Edgerton. Second shot up, and nothing but the bottom of the net by Edgerton, which is normal for her. So 8-1, Edgerton steals it from Wood. Wood over to Kovacs. Knocked away, Williams underneath. Gonna feed it up. Shot up there by 24, Lewis. She'll get fouled if she misses the layup, and she'll get two. Fouls at number 14, Audrey Benz. That is Audrey's first. And the 14th foul on the Valkyries. And going to the line to shoot two. Number 24, Josie Lewis for Florence. She'll make the first. And she'll get one more. 3:36 to go here in quarter number one. The Valkyries trail by 8, 9-1 on the Montana Athletic Club scoreboard. Second shot is up and good by Lewis. And a 10-1 lead. Chapius inbound to Benz. Benz across the timeline. Feeds it over to Santa Stevens on left wing. Oh, very nice pass there by Edgerton. Nadeau misses the first shot, gets her own rebound, puts it back up and in, and a 10-3 ball game. Quickly in, Yeoman, guarded by Chapius. Over to Wood. Wood looking to drive, right wing. Kicks it out, gets it up to Stensrud, throws it up off the rim, and no good. Run down there by Stensrud. And back to Stensrud in the corner. Thought about driving. Shooting the three, drives it, gives it up to Williams. Williams spin move, puts it off the backboard, and good for two. Inbound to Benz from Chapius. Chapius across the timeline, get it back from Benz to Chapius, back to Benz. Over to Nadeau. Nadeau trying to feed Edgerton. Going to get up at Chapius, top of the key, looking underneath. Shot, ball is batted away. Edgerton tries to come up with it, gets on the floor. It should be a held ball. And a 30-second timeout taken by Florence. And 2:36 to go. Looks like the floor is a little bit slippery. And the AD here, Scott Marsh, says they got to sweep that. Look like the girls are sliding around a little bit going on as well in the boys' game. So 2:36 to go here in quarter number one. 12-3, the Florence Lady Falcons lead the Bigfork Valkyries. On your His Biz Paint and Renovate scoreboard from Florence, Montana, James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes of the Vals, with you. 406-270-7384. Text me, let me know you can pick up the game. Back in the game is Emma Berth. So Berth, Santa Stevens, Nadeau, Edgerton, and Benz in for the Valkyries. Stensrud, Yeoman, knocked away by Bigfork. Nearly taken away. Yeoman comes up with it, looking underneath the Williams. Williams gets the ball, takes it up off the backboard, and scores over Edgerton, the freshman for Florence. In the down to Berth. Berth bringing it up across the timeline, gives it over to Benz. Benz looking, finds Nadeau. Nadeau will feed it. 3-point shot on the way by Santa Stevens is good from the corner. And a 14-6 ball game, under 2 minutes to go. Into Yeoman. Yeoman will give it up to Wood. Wood looking. Gives it back to Yeoman on the left side. Nadeau guard right there. Stensrud will give it back to Yeoman. Yeoman driving down to the left corner. Yeoman looking underneath for Williams. Will give it out to Stensrud. Stensrud back to Yeoman. Yeoman looking to drive baseline. Kicks it out. Shot on the way by Wood. In and out. And Santa Stevens is tied up there by Lewis. And the arrow points towards the Valkyries. And checking in the ball game, number 10, Meredith Bedford, the 5'7" senior guard forward. After injury, back in the ball game, getting the play. So Beth will dribble her up, 14-8 with 1:31 to go. Beth, 3-point shot on the way by Bedford. Rebound brought down there by Edgerton. We'll kick it out to Beth. Beth shot on the way off the rim and no good. Nadeau right there. Stensrud comes up with the rebound for Florence. Looking to run is Stensrud. Stensrud puts it off the glass. Right-handed to good for two. 16-6, 10-point lead by the Lady Falcons. Inbound to Beth. Beth, top of the key, looking. Gives it over to Nadeau. Underneath, off the rim. Santa Stevens pass meant for Edgerton, off the rim and no good. Rebounded by Williams for Florence, and Bedford will tie it up with Wood, and the arrow points towards Florence. Audrey Benz checking back in for little discussion on whose possession it would be. I think the last ball it was Bigfork. Now they got to change that arrow in between. They got it right. It is Florence's basketball. As they missed that one, Wood inbound to Yeoman. Yeoman back to Wood in the backcourt. Little pressure by Bigfork. Yeoman looking. Back to Wood. Wood crosses the timeline. Guarded there by Benz. In the corner to Stensrud. 3-point shot on the way by Stensrud is no good, but Williams is right there with the rebound off the rim and no good, and Beth will come up with the rebound. 30 seconds to go. Beth will feed Santa Stevens in the left corner. Out to Benz. Benz, Edgerton. Edgerton's shot on the way. And knocked out of bounds by Florence. And Edgerton's shot partially blocked there. And off of Florence, it'll be Bigfork basketball with 23 seconds to go. The Valkyries inbounding, gives it up to Barrett, top of the key. Saves it before it goes across half court in violation. In the corner, Edgerton three-point shot is good. Nothing but the bottom of the net by Ansley Edgerton. And brings the Valkyries within 7, 16-9. Yeoman, Stensrud, back up to Wood. Wood in the front court. Feeds it over to Yeoman. Yeoman's three-point shot on the way, throws it up. No good. And rebounded there by Edgerton. And the clock runs out here in quarter number 1. On your His Biz Paint and Renovate scoreboard, it is the Florence Lady Falcons 16. Your Bigfork Valkyries 9 after 1 quarter. As we head to the second quarter, I'll be back with you momentarily here from Florence, Montana, as the Valkyries trail 16-9 here in Florence. All right, welcome back for quarter number 2. It is Bigfork basketball to start the second quarter, and they trail by 7. And Barrett will inbound. Barrett, Benz, Nadu, Santa Stephen, and Edgerton for the Valkyries. Number 32 is Kelson Zahn checking in. Yeoman as well for Florence. Wood, Stensrud, or check that. Kovac in the ball game. Fouls on number 11. That is Emma Barrett's second and 15th foul. So Kovac, Yeoman, Wood. 32 is Zahn, and 24 is Lewis in for the Lady Falcons. Pressure in the backcourt by Benz, riding Wood. Kicks it over to Yeoman. Yeoman top of the key, looks to kick it underneath. Feeds it to, stolen away by Nadu from Kovac, and up, gives it up to Benz. Benz in the front court, top of the key, looking. And she'll give it to Beth, and the whistle blows. And it'll be number 22, call for the foul. That's Cassidy Yeoman. I just love that when they bump them, throw up their hands like I didn't do anything. That's her second and 14th foul. Santa Stephen inbound, far side of the front court. Tried to get it into Benz, knocked away there by Yeoman, and it'll remain Bigfork basketball. Inbound to Edgerton. Edgerton will hold it there for Benz. Benz top of the key. Edgerton goes and sets up underneath for Bigfork. Left wing. Barrett driving top of the key. Gives it up to Edgerton. Edgerton on the drive. Off the backboard. And no good. Gets her own rebound. And illegal dribble by Ansley Edgerton. It'll be turned over to Florence. And number 3, Emma Stensrud, returns to the lineup for Florence. 7:01 to go. 16-9. The Valkyries trail on the Bigfork Harvest Food scoreboard. Yeoman back to Wood. Over, knocked away, and nearly is taken away there by Santa Stephen as that passes intended for Zahn. Knocked off of Florence. On the far side, it'll be Bigfork basketball with 6:52 to go to halftime. Santa Stephen inbound for the Valkyries. Looking, gets it into Edgerton. Edgerton will give it to Benz. Benz. As Edgerton sets up a screen. Looking, gives it to Barrett. Barrett looking to drive. Left-handed kicks it in the corner to Nadu. Nadu looking, feeds it out. Top of the key. Barrett has to go get it. And looking to set it up. Guarded by Zahn is Barrett. Barrett looking to drive. Kicks it up. Santa Stevens driving on Kovac. And she's going to travel as she drags the pivot foot. And it'll be turnover by the Valkyries. It'll be Florence basketball. 6:25 to go. Still 16-9 ball game on your Harvest Food scoreboard. Yeoman back to Wood in the backcourt. Back to Yeoman. Yeoman dribbles it across the timeline. Looking to drive. Drives all the way left-handed and misses the layup. Ansley Edgerton with the rebound. Gives it up to Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen quickly up the right side. It looks like that court is very slick. Out to Barrett. Barrett at the top of the key as Gunlock calls that a play. On the left wing to Nadu. Stolen away by Stensrud. And she'll be fouled by Benz as Benz looks to get back. And Stensrud goes down once again for Florence. That's a number 14. Audrey Benz, her second and 16th foul. Stensrud will go to the line to take two shots, but it will be a timeout called by the Valkyries. A full timeout here. 5:52 to go to halftime. And no score here in the second quarter as the Lady Falcons lead the Valkyries 16-9 on your Gilliard Painting scoreboard. We're back here momentarily from Florence, Montana. All right, welcome back to Florence, Montana. James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes, out with you. And at the line, Stensrud. Stensrud got fouled. And we'll go to the line to shoot two. First shot is up and good. And Ashton McAnally will check back in the ballgame for Santa Stevens for the Valkyries here in the second quarter. Stensrud's second shot is good. And 18-9, doubling up the Valkyries. Inbound. Nadu gives it back to McAnally. McAnally in the front court, crosses the timeline. Gives it over to Nadu. Nadu on the right wing. Will kick it up. Edgerton, pump fake. Goes up, puts a shot up, rolls off the rim and no good. Nadu nearly coming to the rebound. Yeoman grabs it for Florence, brings it up the front court. Dribbling left-handed is Yeoman. Will give it over to Wood. Wood, top of the key for Florence. Back to Yeoman. Yeoman going to call out and set up the play for Florence. Guarded there by Benz in the corner to Wood. McAnally guarding. Shot on the way by Wood, no good. And rebounding is Kovacs. Kovacs puts it up left-handed and scores. Inbound to Benz. Pressure by Florence. Barrett gets the ball from Benz. Crossover, passes on. Gives it over to Edgerton. Edgerton back out to Barrett, top of the key. Barrett called something out. Screen set by, in the corner, goes to McAnally. McAnally looking, bounce pass. Edgerton's shot up, in and out, off the backboard and good for two by Ansley Edgerton. And a 20-11 lead as the Valkyries trail by 9. Over to Yeoman. Yeoman guarded by Benz. So give it to Kovacs. Kovacs looking, nearly stolen by three-point shot on the way. Misses everything but the backboard by Yeoman, and the rebound as a foul's called on number 1, Colby Wood. Her first and 15th foul. Madison Chapey is returning to the lineup, replacing Audrey Benz, who needs a breather here in the second quarter. McAnally the inbound, pressure the backcourt a little bit by Florence. And Barrett will bring it across the timeline. Barrett looking to drive all the way, takes it up off the backboard and good. She drives left, takes it out with the right hand, puts it in and scores for the Valkyries. 20-13, the Valkyries within 7. Wood over to Yeoman, back to Wood, top of the key, extended. Benz right, check that Barrett right there. We'll get up to Stensrud. Stensrud back to Wood, back to Stensrud. Stensrud driving, throws it up. McAnally gets the rebound. Dribbling up the left side is Ashton McAnally. She'll get it over to Edgerton. Over the right wing to Chapius. Chapius looking, Barrett driving. Edgerton driving, shot up off the rim and no good. Runs down an old rebound. That's Edgerton. She'll give it up to Barrett. Barrett looking to drive left-handed. Kicks it over. McAnally, baseline, off the backboard. Oh, in and out. Nearly falls for Bigfork. And Yeoman with the basketball in the front court for Florence. Guarded by Chapius. Yeoman kicks it over to Wood. Wood in the right wing, guarded by McAnally. McAnally. Over to Wood. Wood gives it out to Yeoman. Yeoman top of the key, guarded by Chapius. Just about 3 minutes to go here to halftime. And guarding trying to get Stensrud underneath. She goes up, blocked there partially by Bigfork. Barrett comes up with it, dribbling up left-handed. And drives in the corner, looking to drive baseline. And she's going to get pushed. And it looks like the foul is going to be on number 1, I believe. We'll check that momentarily. Check that. It's on 32. And that is Kelson Zahn. Her first 16 foul. Checking back in, Trista Williams for Florence. And also 24, Lewis. Madison Chapius off the backboard, misses it, gets the rebound, puts it back up, she gets fouled, and she'll get to shoot 2 as you put it up hard off the backboard. Fouls on number 22, Cassidy Yeoman. That is her 3rd and 17th foul. And Madison Chapius to the line to shoot 2 for the Valkyries. Chapius first shot off the back of the rim and no good. Stensrud and Kovacs return, replacing Zahn and Yeoman for Florence. So a couple players each in foul trouble here early in the first half, and Chapius will get one more as the Valkyries trail by 7, 20-13. Second shot up, nothing at the bottom of the net, and a 20-14 6-point lead with 2:43 to go. Quickly up to Lewis. Stensrud in the corner, back out to Lewis. She'll get it up to Wood. Wood top of the key, back to Lewis. Lewis over to Stensrud. Stensrud thought about a long three-pointer, but thought better. And a three-point shot by number 24. Josie Lewis is good from the right wing. Valkyries got to step out and play defense. Barrett, top of the key. Gives it over to Chapius, back to Beth. Over to Nadeau. Nadeau baseline to McAnally. Tries to get it inside and kick ball. She tries to feed it in to Ansley Edgerton. It'll remain Bigfork basketball underneath. Edgerton will take it out. And Nadeau will get a breather as Isabella Sanesteven returns to the lineup for Bigfork. 2:10 to go. 23-14. Inbound. Chapius feeds it in. Edgerton pump fake, goes up against Kovacs off the backboard, too strong and no good. And Wood will come up with a rebound for Florence. They've had like 3 shots like that, shooting just a little bit strong, and they should be going in the bucket. Chapius guarding Wood, top of the key. Gets set, screened by Williams. And player control foul. 50. That's Trista Williams. Player control foul, moving screen. She set the screen initially, but then she moved her feet, still holding her. That's a moving screen. And that's her first personal and 18th foul. No free throws on a player control foul. Sanesteven feeds Edgerton. Edgerton, McAnally underneath. McAnally try to go to a reverse layup, but Williams is right there along with Stensrud. Stensrud gets the ball from Williams. Across the timeline, gives it over to Wood. Wood will take it to the top of the key. Looking to set it up for Florence. Chapius out to guard Wood. Out to Kovacs. Kovacs top the key to Wood in the right wing. I'm not quite sure what to do. Feeds it up to Williams. Williams will shoot. Nice pass there by Wood to Williams on the give and go. Feeds it, ball just rolls in. And that's a foul number 11. That's Emma Beth. That is Beth's 3rd personal. And the 17th foul. Williams will shoot the and one. And Sanesteven comes out of the ball game. Williams, shot on the way is good. And 26-14, the Valkyries trail by 12. 1:09 to go Nadine at the scoreboard to check in the corner. Edgerton blocked by Stensrud. And Lewis comes up with the ball. Ashton McAnally tries to tie it up, call for the foul. That's her second, 18th foul. And Nadeau will check back in the ball game for Barrett, who has 3. At the line, shooting 1-1. It'll be number 24, Josie Lewis, with just under 1 minute to go. First shot up, in and out. McAnally with a rebound. Dribbling up, sells it down, gets it up to Chapius. Chapius across the timeline for the Valkyries. Over to Nadeau. Nadeau back to Chapius, top of the key. Finds McAnally, gets it over to Bedford. Chapius, a wild shot. Hits the backboard and misses. And Williams comes up the rebound, gives it up to Stensrud. Stensrud quickly at the right side. Guarded there by Chapius. Bumps her, and Stensrud goes down. And she'll shoot a 1-on-1. Fouls at number 21. Madison Chapius, her first 19th foul. Emma Stensrud will go to the line, shoot 1-on-1. McAnally back out, bends back in for the Valkyries. And Stensrud at the line for a 1-on-1 for Florence. She makes the first. We'll get one more off the rim and no good. And Madison Chapius comes up with the rebound and nearly loses it, picks it back up, and going to drive all the way, gives it up to Benz. Benz in the baseline, guarded by Stensrud, who's going to kick it out with 24 seconds to go. Chapius comes up with a loose ball for Bigfork, looking to drive, kicks it over to Nadeau. Nadeau on the left wing, looking to drive up to Edgerton. Edgerton's shot off the backboard, no good. Wood comes up with a rebound, and Benz is going to have to run her down. And bumps her on the floor. That's Audrey Benz, her third and 10th foul. So Wood will go to the line to shoot 2. So the double bonus for Florence. First shot is good. Checking back in for Benz will be Isabella Sanesteven, and Kelson Zahn will check in for Kovac with 6.1 to go. Second shot up is good. 29-14, 6.1. Quickly in. Bedford, Chapius in the backcourt. Not realizing how much time. She's got to put the shot up. Doesn't get a shot up. Got to be aware of that time. I know you're a freshman, but got to be aware of that clock running down. At least get a shot up. So your halftime score, brought to you by the Montana Athletic Club. It is the Florence Lady Falcons 29, your Bigfork Valkyries 14. And we're back with your halftime stats here from Florence, Montana, as the Valkyries trail by 15 here on your Harvest Food scoreboard. I'll get your halftime stats. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Florence, Montana, halftime. Brought to you by Do Your Painting. Interior and exterior painting and staining, pressure washing, parking lot striping, property caretaking, Chip Gear, 1080, Swan, Horseshoe Drive, and Bigfork, 210-7794, or chipgear@yahoo.com. Take a look at your halftime stats and see what we have here. Let me bring these up. Wood shot a lot of free throws, I'll tell you that. In the second quarter, she shot 6, 5 for 6 to the 3. So she has 9 points. So either way, Stemser with 2 by Kovac. Yoma with a 3-pointer. Same thing with Lewis. Lewis has 5. And 9, if you will, also by Trista Williams. 16 in the first, 13 in the second, 29 total for Florence here. And for the Valkyries, take a look. Some of the girls still sick, I believe, as well as what I heard earlier. And see if I can get that up here. I know I took a picture of it, so give me just a minute here. I'll give you your halftime stats for, here we go. Emma Barrett with 2 in the second. 1 for 2 by Madison Chapius, who scores 1. Scout Nadeau with 2 in the first. Edgerton with 6 to lead the way. A 3-pointer by Santa Stevens, so that's a good sign. 9 in the first, 5 in the second. Need to get some more scoring from others as well. I know some of them aren't feeling well. And 14 at halftime if they plan to get back in this ball game. As they'll play tomorrow, and taking a look at tomorrow and the games as they take on the Trojans and Lady Trojans, both the Vikings and Valkyries. And I'll get you your schedule here. So we'll be at home tomorrow. I'll be on the PA. So if you want to come by and support your student athletes, they are a lot. The Vikings have 4 games remaining at home tomorrow against Troy, then Ronan, Polson, and then Thompson Falls for senior night. The Valkyries have 2 more at home tomorrow against Lady Trojans, and then coming up on the 15th against the Lady Blue Hawks. So things get underway tomorrow. It shows at 11 o'clock in the morning. It is boys junior varsity against Trojans, no freshmen. And girls JV follow at 12:30. Boys varsity at 2 and girls varsity at 3:30 tomorrow in the Bigfork High School Gymnasium. So we'll hope to see you all out there supporting your Vikings and Valkyries at home. Well, the second half ready to start. Valkyries coming out of the locker room, get ready for the second half here. And I'll be back with momentary, just under 2 minutes till tip-off, or excuse me, the second half. No more tip-off inbound, and we'll have the rest of the ball game for you. This is James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes of Vals with Florence from Florence, Montana. It's halftime as the Valkyries trail 29-14 on your His Biz Paint and Renovate scoreboard. All right, folks, welcome back to Florence, Montana, as the Valkyries trail at halftime. Getting ready underway with the second half. And McAnally, Santa Stephen, Edgerton, Barrett, and Benz will start the second half for Bigfork in their dark black with blue trim. And they'll head right to left on your dial. And for Florence, it'll be Wood, Stensrud, Kovac, or check that, Williams, Kovac, and Yeoman to start the second half. Inbound to Yeoman. Florence basketball starting the second half. Wood guarded by Barrett. Barrett trying to get it underneath to stole away, knocked away, and Andre Benz all the way to the basket. And no foul call as Benz tries to take it in. And no whistle, that just calls it out of bounds. And looked like it was off Florence. And they'll give it to Florence. Inbound Yeoman. Yeoman across the timeline, guarded by Benz. Yeoman looking, finds Williams, top of the key. Nearly stolen away by Edgerton. Over the right side of Wood. Wood guarded by Barrett. Barrett on Wood underneath the Kovac. Kovac looking, kicks it out to Stensrud. Top of the key by Stensrud off the backboard. No good. And Edgerton comes up with a rebound. Dribbles up, gives it up to McAnally. McAnally, left side. Will kick it over to Santa Stephen on the left wing. Underneath to Edgerton. Edgerton back out. Barrett looking to drive. Up off the backboard. And off the rim and good as it drops for Emma Barrett. And the Valkyries within 13. Inbound to Wood from Stensrud. Toss timeline is Wood. Guarded there by Barrett to the top of the key for the Valkyries. Into Williams. Williams guarded by Edgerton. Wood goes on the drive and the give and go and can't come up with the basket and fighting for it. Stensrud comes up with the loose ball for Florence. Kicks it out to Yeoman. Yeoman will look to drive on Benz. Brings it back out. Kicks it, gives it over to Kovac. Kovac tries to feed Yeoman trying to go back door. McAnally cuts her off. Stensrud, 3-point shot in the way. Short. And Santa Stephen comes up with a rebound. Tries to get out to Barrett. And Wood will come up with a loose ball. Bigfork could have ran on the open break. And Benz and Yeoman tie it up. And we held ball. Bigfork basketball. And number 24, Josie Lewis, will come in the ballgame, replacing Williams for Florence with 6:16 to go. Benz in the backcourt will inbound to Barrett. Barrett brings it in and brings it across the timeline. Looking is Emma Barrett. In the corner, Santa Stephen. In the left corner. Gives it up to Barrett. Barrett kicks it out to Santa Stephen. Looking to get a shot off Stensrud's Gardner. So difficult for her to get that shot off against the 5'8" Stensrud. Isabel, Santa Stephen, look, gives it up to Edgerton. Edgerton, top of the key. Santa Stephen looking, drives to McAnally. Driving left-handed. McAnally taking it in, throws it up. And a blocking foul. Number 24 looks like Josie Lewis. That's her first team foul. And Ashton McAnally will go to the line to shoot two for the Valkyries. No score here in the second half. McAnally's first shot is up and good. And the Valkyries strike first here in quarter number 3. 5:41 to go, 29-17 on your Goodyear Painting scoreboard. Second shot by McAnally. Off the front of the rim, no good. Kovac comes up with the rebound, gives it over to Yeoman. Yeoman brings it up the court for the Falcons. In the front court, guarded by Benz. Yeoman looking, drags the pit, gives it over to Lewis. Lewis, well, look, kicks it out to Stensrud. Stensrud looking to drive on McAnally, throws it up. Off the rim and no good. Yeoman comes up with the rebound, puts it up, but she's fouled, misses the shot, and she'll go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. And that foul's number 14, Andre Benz. I believe that's her fourth. And it is first team foul. And Yeoman to the line to shoot two for Florence. First shot up and good. And Madison Chapius will check in for Andre Benz. Yeoman, one more free throw for Florence. Off the rim and no good, and Barrett comes up the rebound. Quickly up the left side is Emma Barrett looking to cross over off the backboard, and good. She has that beautiful stop shot where she comes up left hand and crosses over, takes it over in front of the rim off the backboard, and good for two by Emma Barrett. Yeoman, top of the key. Looking, gives it over to Kovacs, over to Wood on the right wing. Looking for Stenzer underneath. Give it up to Lewis. Lewis will give it over. Dribble. She'll give it up to Wood. Wood guarded there by Santa Stevens. Top of the key, looking to set it up. 4:45 and counting. Wood drives to the right wing. Kicks it and stolen away. Barrett gets it from Edgerton, and Barrett scores as Edgerton tips it to Emma Barrett, and Barrett takes it coast to coast to score in the bucket. 30-21, down by 9 of the Valkyries now. 4:26 to go on the Montana Athletic scoreboard. Shot up, and Kovacs comes to the rebound. Wood off the backboard, and good. She comes up with the loose ball and scores for Florence. Inbound to Barrett from McAnally. McAnally looking at the coach, looking to see what she's calling. Barrett with the basketball, looking at coach. Over to Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen looking. Gets knocked down. Barrett looking to drive. And knocked out of bounds by Stensrud. It remain Bigfork basketball as Scout Nadeau will come in the ball game, replacing Ansley Edgerton. And Chapius to inbound on the near side of the front court for the Valkyries. 3:59 to go, 32-21. Chapius looking, get it in, and she gets it in, but right to Wood, who steals it. Minute for Scout Nadeau. Wood cut off on the baseline, throws it up short. Nadeau with a nice rebound as the ball misses everything. Gives it up to Barrett. Barrett over to Chapius on the left wing. Top of the key, Barrett. Got three shot, shoot that three. Off the rim, no good. Bigfork right there, Santa Stephen. And I thought it was a jump held ball, but they're going to call foul on number 33, Isabella Santa Stephen. That is her second team foul on the Valkyries here in the second half with 3:39 to go in quarter number 3. And the Valkyries down by 11. Wood for Florence crosses the timeline. Got it by Santa Stephen. Wood will drive over the right side. Looking for Kovacs underneath. He's nearly stolen away by Beth as she comes baseline on Kovacs. And it'll remain Florence basketball on the near side of the front court. Wood inbounded to Lewis. Lewis looking to drive. McAnally right there. Lewis throws it up. No good. Another rebound by Nadeau. Quickly up to Chapius. Chapius up the right side. She'll set it up top of the key. Gives it to McAnally. McAnally looking to drive for Bigfork. Off the backboard. Good. On the drive by Ashton McAnally. And timeout taken by Florence, a 30-second timeout. Edgerton back in, and number 50, Trista Williams returning for Florence, and a 30-second timeout taken by Florence. And Bigfork is going on a run and pull within 9 at 32-23 on your His Biz Paint and Renovate scoreboard with 3:10 to go here in quarter number 3. So Florence, Bigfork just scored, so Florence with the basketball in the backcourt. Inbounding is Wood. Wood will give it inbound to Yeoman. So Barrett, Nadeau, Edgerton, McAnally, and Chapius in the ball game for Bigfork. Yeoman looking to drive. Chapius cuts her off. Gives it to Williams. Williams looking to score. At the backboard too strong. Kovacs over the top of Nadeau, and she dribbles it out. Looks like she illegal dribble. 3-point shot away by Yeoman is good as they scramble for the loose ball moving around as she puts it up. Barrett quickly up. Nadeau feeds McAnally. McAnally baseline jumper by Edgerton is good for 2. And inbound, Wood will give it up to Yeoman. 2:28 to go here in quarter number 3. Yeoman with the basketball. Chapius cuts her off, heading to the left side. And Chapius had her hand on the ball momentarily. Williams tried to feed Kovacs and throws it away out of bounds. It will be Bigfork basketball. Bedford comes in for Scout Nadeau. And Barrett quickly up across the timeline. Guarded by Yeoman is Barrett. Looking. Barrett kicks in the corner to Bedford. Back to Barrett. Back to Bedford. Bedford's got to be ready to shoot that. Chapius gives it up to McAnally. McAnally on Kovacs. Back out to Barrett. Barrett top of the key gives it over Bedford. Bedford's baseline jumper shoots it up, no good. And right there is Edgerton to get a rebound. And she'll get fouled on the rebound. And fouls on number 1, Colby Wood, her second team foul. And number 4, Karina McCollum comes in for Stensrud. Inbound to Bedford. In the left wing, gives it out to Barrett. Bedford in the left corner. Barrett looking to drive, gives it up to Edgerton. Edgerton tries to feed McAnally. Back to Barrett, saves the loose ball. Over to Chapius on the right wing, gives it up to McAnally. McAnally trying to feed it baseline to Edgerton and taken away by Florence. Quickly up to Yeoman. Yeoman shot up, no good. Barrett comes up with the rebound. Bigfork quickly up the court as Barrett is looking to drive. He's in the corner. Edgerton baseline jumper is good for 2. And a nice pass by Emma Barrett. 35-27. The Valkyries within 8 with 1:19 to go here in quarter number 3 on the Bigfork Harvest Food scoreboard. Yeoman will give it up to Wood at top of the key. Bedford right there on her. Shot. And traveling violation of number 4, McCullum, as she runs right into McAnally. And it will be Bigfork basketball on the turnover. Checking back in is Williams for Kovac. And Santa Stephen goes to the scorer's table to check on the dead ball. Chapius across the timeline. Gives it over to Bedford. Bedford feeds it up to Barrett. Bedford. Oh, excuse me. Edgerton. Edgerton back to Chapius. And back to Edgerton. They lose it out of bounds. They remain Florence basketball as Barrett will get a breather. Santa Stephen comes back in. They're going to need it for the fourth quarter. So Yeoman with the basketball. Yeoman across the timeline for Florence. Guarded there by Chapius. Chapius give it up to McCullum. McCullum standing at the top of the key, guarded by McAnally. McAnally all over. Chapius looking to take Yeoman. Kicks it underneath to Williams. Williams dribbles on the baseline. Or check that. That'll be a foul on number 50, Trista Williams. That is her third team foul. And 29 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Chapius gets it from Bedford over to Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen back out to Chapius. Tries to feed to McAnally. The shot Yeoman on the breakaway. Chapius right there. Makes her miss. Rebounded by Bedford. Quickly up to Chapius with 10 seconds to go. And Chapius looking. Feeds it over to Edgerton. Edgerton looking off the backboard. No. Shoots it. A little floater right over the top and scores 2 by Edgerton. And that'll be the end of the third quarter. So the Valkyries fight back in quarter number 3 and pull within 6 at 35-29 on your Gilliard Painting scoreboard. And we have 1 quarter to go here in Florence, Montana. The Valkyries are not done yet, and they're fighting back hard. And it'll be Chapius, McAnally, Bedford, Santa Stephen, and Edgerton to start the fourth quarter. And I'll be back with that momentarily here from Florence, Montana. All right, welcome back to Florence, Montana. James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes, along with you. It is quarter number 4, and it will be Florence basketball to start the fourth quarter as the Valkyries pull within 6, trail 35-29 on your Harvest Food scoreboard. And Stensrud inbound to Wood. along with Yeoman, Lewis, and Kovacs for Florence. Wood guarded by Bedford. Do a nice job top of the key is Wood. Bedford right there. Stenzu driving baseline, and she's fouled there by number 11, Emma Barrett. And that will be, I believe, Barrett's fourth. And third team foul on the floor, so Florence will take it out underneath. Wood to inbound, looking. And feeds it to Stenzu in the corner. Stenzu looking to drive. And Barrett has to back up a little bit. Little floater by Stenzu, scores for Florence. Barrett this time feeds it up to McAnally and throws it out of bounds as McAnally can't quite get the basketball from Barrett. Chapius will come in for Barrett because Barrett has 4, and she'll have to have a seat with 7:31 to go. So it's need a breather. We need her in the ball game, so she'll have to take a slight break. Stenzu, top of the key, guarded by Santa Steven. Looking is Florence, gives it up to Wood. Wood out to the right side, takes it to the top of the key. And looking to drive on Bedford. Bedford do a nice job on her. Stenzu looking, drives off the backboard. Or off, little floater by Stenzu is good for 2. Chapius gets it from McAnally. Will drive quickly up to the right side. Does McAnally. Chapius gives it over to Bedford. Back to Chapius. Chapius right wing. Feeds it to Edgerton. Edgerton. McAnally in the right corner. Looking underneath. McAnally will bring it back out to the top and set things up for Bigfork. Looking to drive. Gives it up to Bedford. Bedford on the left wing. Tied up. Gives it up to Santa Steven. Santa Steven over to Chapius. Chapius looking up and under. Nice drive there by Madison Chapius, the freshman. He scored a 2. Inbound to Wood. Wood in the backcourt for Florence. Bring it up. 6:25 to go. 39-31 on the Montana Athletic scoreboard. The Valkyries trail by 8. Stenzer looking to drive on. And she just runs into everybody and throws it up. And she's going to get 2. Someone just needs to set their feet and take the charge here. That's the first personal on Meredith Bedford, and 4th-team foul on Bigfork. And Stenzer will go to the line to shoot 2. Scout Nadeau checking back in for Isabella Santa Steven with 6:11 to go. And the first free throw made by Stenzer. She'll get 1 more. Second shot on the way is good by the senior for Florence. Inbound to Bedford, backcourt. Being run down by Lewis. She'll bring it across the timeline. Well, Meredith Bedford looking to drive. She kicks it over. Edgerton baseline jumper is good. Edgerton really getting on fire here in the second half on the baseline. 41-33, 5:52 to go. Wood, front court, guarded by Bedford. She's got to move her feet. Coming off that injury is Meredith. And Wood looking. She pulls up a jumper. And Chapius saves it. Nice save to Bedford. Quickly up to Scout Nadeau. Nadeau looking. Oh, tries to shoot the floater. And Edgerton right there. Looked like it was off Florence. They give Florence the ball. Barrett comes back in along with Benz with 5:27 to go. And Barrett with 4. I think Audrey with 4 as well. They had no time like tomorrow. Got to play it today. Stenzu in the front court, guarded by Nadeau. Nadeau, the freshman, gives it over to Wood on the right wing from Stensrud. Florence the basketball, top of the key. Goes Wood, looking, guarded by Benz. Tries to give Stensrud. Nadeau right there. Stensrud, right wing, have to dribble it back out the top of the key. And Nadeau doing a nice job guarding it. Gives it up to Lewis. Lewis will feed over to Wood. Wood looking to drive on Benz. And Wood can throw it up, give it to Kovacs. Kovacs guarded by McAnally. McAnally blocks it. Put your hands straight up, and Kovacs shoots right into her, and McAnally doesn't move. Out of bounds off Bigfork. Wood to inbounds for Florence. Gives it into Stensrud. And they're going to call a blocking foul, number 14. That's Audrey Benz. That is her 5th personal and 5th team foul. And Coach Gunlock is going to have to put Chapius back in the ball game for Benz. So Chapius, McAnally, Nadeau, Edgerton, and Barrett in the ball game for Bigfork. Stensrud, guarded by Nadeau, who's doing a nice job on her. Tries to cross over, gives it up to Lewis, top of the key. Over to Wood. Wood looking to drive. Guarded by Chapius. Cut off by Edgerton. Feeds Kovacs. Underneath. Shoots it too hard. Misses it. And they'll call another foul on Bigfork. Fouls on Ashton McAnally. Her second 6-team foul. And it will be Florence basketball underneath, and a full timeout taken by Bigfork. So 4:20 to go in the ball game here in this Western B matchup. The Valkyries trail 41-33 on your Harvest Food scoreboard. I'll be back with the rest of the fourth quarter from Florence, Montana. All right, welcome back to Florence, Montana. James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes of Al, with you as the Valkyries trail by 8, 41-33. On your Harvest Food scoreboard, it'll be Florence basketball underneath. Wood inbounding for Bigfork. And tries to get into Stensrud. Right wing backdoor to Yeoman. Yeoman looking and on the floor. And Wood comes out with it for Florence. Kovacs underneath. And stolen away there by Chapius. Held ball. It should be Bigfork basketball. She ties up Kovacs. Does Chapius. McAnally, the inbound. We'll give it up to Chapius up the left side. Looking. Gives it over to Scout Nadeau. Another freshman on the right side. Cross the timeline. And she'll give it up to Chapius. Chapius looking. Kicks it out to Nadeau. Nadeau on the right side looking to drive baseline in the right corner. Gives it up to McAnally. McAnally quickly up, out to the top of the key. Barrett looking to drive. And on the end line, touched by Yeoman for Florence. So it'll be out of bounds to Bigfork with 3:49 to go. And the Vals trailing by 8. Nadeau inbounding to McAnally. Left wing to Chapius. Over to Nadeau on the right wing. In the corner, Emma Barrett looking to drive. Kicks up, throws up the shot, no good. McAnally right there, puts it up on the rebound, and Stensrud will foul her. She tries to block it, and McAnally shoots it just a little bit short with the left hand, but she'll go to the free throw line and get 2 shots. That's the first personal on Stensrud and the 14th foul, and McAnally to shoot 2. First shot up, off the rim, off the backboard, and good. As she makes the first one, pulls the Valkyries within 7. McAnally, one more. Shot up. This time rolls in and out. Right there is Edgerton, puts it back up, and good for 2. The Valkyries within 5 with 3:33 to go. And trail 41-36 on your Gator Painting scoreboard. Stensrud, right wing, guarded by McAnally. And Stensrud. And timeout taken by Florence as Stensrud was getting trapped in the corner. And number 50, Trista Williams, will come back in for Florence. And it's going to be a full timeout as that's all they have left, does Florence. And They have 2 left. The Valkyries show 3 on the board. And the Valkyries within 5, 41-36. 3:21 to go on your Montana Athletic scoreboard. So a full timeout. I'll be back more with the fourth quarter here from Florence, Montana, as the Valkyries pull within 5 at 41-36. Also returning for Florence, it'll be number 13, Kylie Kovac. So Kovac, along with Williams, Stensrud, Yeoman, and Wood. Stensrud gets the ball, guarded by Chapius, runs over McAnally. Finally, Stensrud takes the charging call, and that'll be a player control foul. Number 3, Emma Stensrud, her second, and the 15th foul on Florence. Chapius inbounding to Barrett. Barrett to the backcourt, guarded by Wood. Barrett brings it across the timeline, looking to drive. Nice screen there by, and Barrett loses it to Yeoman. Yeoman looking to feed and take it away. Barrett hustles back, takes it away from Yeoman. Barrett quickly up the court, crosses over, and she's fouled. She'll go to the free throw line. Is Emma Barrett. Even though she has 4, she's got to stay in the ball game. That's the 3rd foul on Stensrud, and the 16th foul, and Emma Barrett to the line to shoot 2. Shoots it just a little bit strong off the back rim, and checking back in. Even 24, Josie Lewis for Florence, with just under 3 minutes to go at 2:58, and Barrett will get one more free throw for the Vals. Second shot up, nothing but the bottom of the net. And the Vals within 4 at 41-37, so fighting back is the Bigfork Valkyries. Wood with the basketball, guarded by Barrett. Brings it across the timeline, in the corner. And Emma, you just can't do that. You got 4 on you. You got to be smart. She's not going to score from there. She picks up her 5th and the 17th foul, and that'll put Colby Wood to the line, shooting a 1-and-1. And she makes the first, so she'll get one more. Just a sophomore. Learned to stay in the ball game. We needed her. Second shot is up and good by Wood. And checking in the ball game is number 32 for Bigfork. That's Jessa Newton for the Valkyries, the freshman. Newton with the basketball, gives it over to McAnally. McAnally in the corner, 3-point shot by Edgerton. Off the rim and no good. And rebounded by Yeoman for Florence. Chapius, Newton, Nadu, along with 2 seniors, so 3 freshmen. And Edgerton and McAnally, the seniors, in the ballgame. Chapius reaches in, and she'll foul Wood. Wood will go back to the line, shoot a 1-and-1. Second personal on Chapius, 18th foul. And Colby Wood to the line, shoot 1-and-1. First shot off the rim and no good, and Stenzer knocks it out of bounds. For Florence, it'll be Bigfork basketball. 2:18 to go. Bigfork trailing by 6, 43-37 on your His Biz Paint and Renovate scoreboard. McAnally gives it up to Chapius. Chapius across the timeline for Bigfork. Looking over to McAnally, right wing. McAnally looking to drive. Gives it up to Chapius. Chapius, Edgerton, Chapius. 3-point shot on the way by McAnally is good from the right wing. And 43-40, the Valkyries within 3. Yeoman with the basketball, looking. Goes it over to Wood. Wood looking underneath to Williams. Williams goes up, blocked, but fouled by Ansley Edgerton. And 1:45 to go. Tristan Williams will go to line to shoot 2. That is the first personal on Edgerton and the 19th foul on the Valkyries. Williams, first shot up and good. And the 5'11" freshman. She looks taller than 5'11", I'll say that. And she'll get one more. Shot up is good. She makes them both. So a 5-point lead. McAnally looking to inbound. Couldn't get it in. Coach calls timeout. 30-second timeout taken by the Valkyries. And 1:45 to go here in the ball game. The Valkyries pull within 3. Now they trail by 5 on the Harvest Foods scoreboard. 1:45 to go. 30-second timeout. We'll stay right here. Glad to be with you here from Florence, Montana, as we wrap up this ball game. The Valkyries never giving up. And 2 starters foul out, Barrett and Benz for Bigfork. And 3 freshmen in the ball game for Bigfork, along with 2 seniors, so the future is bright for Bigfork. Nadeau to inbounds for Bigfork. And to Chapius. Chapius will dribble up the right side. Lewis trying to guard Chapius right there. Chapius throws it over. Tries to hit Newton. A little bit out of control. And goes out of bounds. It'll be turnover by Bigfork to Florence. Into Yeoman. Yeoman back to Wood. Wood guarded by Newton. And Newton will knock it out of bounds. Newton knocks it out of bounds for Bigfork. It'll remain Florence basketball, and Wood will inbound for the Lady Falcons. Inbounded. Chapius trying to steal it and hits Lewis in the head unintentionally. That's the 3rd personal on Madison Chapius and the 10th team foul. That will put Florence in the double bonus at the line shooting 2. It'll be Josie Lewis for Florence. First shot up, rolls around, the rim and falls. And Newton will come out of the ball game. Isabel Santa Stephen back in for Bigfork, the senior. Second shot is missed. Edgerton gets a rebound up to McAnally, quickly up the left side. Needed to get a shot up. Santa Stephen. Kick it out to Chapius. Chapius has got to find somebody. Edgerton looking to drive. Kicks it out. Nadeau. 3-point shot from the right side. Off the rim and no good. And Yeoman comes up with a loose ball on the rebound for Florence. Across the timeline. Guarded by Santa Stephen is Yeoman. Chapius out there as well. Gives it up to Stensrud. Back to Yeoman. Looking to steal on Bigfork. Stensrud on the left wing. He's going to look. And Chapius will pick up her 4th personal. And Stensrud will go to the line to shoot 2. 55.1 to go, 46-40. Florence leads the Valkyries on your Gear Group painting scoreboard. First shot is up and good. I'll tell you that Florence, I'm not sure how many free throws they've taken, but they pretty much have made almost every one and lead by 7. Stensrud will get another for Florence. Second shot up and no good. And McAnally runs it down for Bigfork. Got to get a shot up. Got to get 3 or a good look here, at least 2 quickly. In the corner, Nadeau looking to drive on Stensrud. Feeds it to McAnally. McAnally kicks it up off the backboard. And they're going to call a player control foul on Ashton McAnally as Yeoman goes down. That's number 5 on McAnally, the senior. And Meredith Bedford will check in for Bigfork. 42, no free throws on a player control foul. So 42.8 to go. Yeoman will stay in the ball game. And pressure in the backcourt by Chapius and Santa Stephen on Yeoman. Yeoman dribbling up. Screen set by Wood. And Chapius will foul Yeoman on the far side. 2 more free throws for Florence. And that'll be the 5th on Chapius. So 4 Valkyries have fouled out of the ball game. Callie Martins checks in. Callie Martins checking in for Bigfork. For McAnally at the line, shooting 2 is number 32, Kelson Zahn. Yeoman goes out with injury, so Zahn will come in as a sub, and she will shoot the 2 free throws off the bench. Rolls around the rim and falls, and she'll get 1 more. Younger sister of Danielle Zahn, who used to play here. She gets another one, puts it up and good. And a 9-point lead. 34 seconds to go, and the Florence is pressuring the backcourt. Bedford holding the basketball, needs to get his shot up. Gives it over. 3-point shot on the way by Edgerton. Off the rim and no good. And Wood comes up with the rebound instead of Stephen will foul her in the backcourt with 16.3 to go. Well, a little bit too late as the Valkyries made a valiant effort but got down early at halftime, as we talked about. First shot up and no good as Wood misses the front end of the double bonus. And she'll get 1 more. 49-40 on your Montana Athletic scoreboard. She makes it 50-40, 10-point lead with 16.3 to go. Nadu gets it in. Stensrud gets it up to Meredith. Meredith looking to drive. And taken away by Williams. And Lewis right there. Wood. Stensrud. And the clock will run out. On the Bigfork Harvest Food scoreboard, it is the Florence Lady Falcons 50, your Bigfork Valkyries 40. We're back with your post-game stats and wrap things up here momentarily from Florence, Montana. James LaFontaine, the voice, and the Knights of the Vals, glad to be with you. And we'll have your full game stats here momentarily. Don't forget the Vals are in action tomorrow. Things get underway with boys JV at 11. 12:30 for girls JV. 2 o'clock for boys varsity and girls JV, or girls varsity at about 3:30. We'll be back momentarily with your full game stats. All right, once again, welcome back to Florence, Montana. James LaFontaine with you, and we'll give you wrap things up as the final is 50-40 as Florence takes it to the Valkyries, but the Valkyries gave a gallant effort and tried to come back there at the end, trailing big at halftime. And they held Florence to only 6 points in the third quarter, 1-3 and a free throw and a 2-pointer, but 15 they gave up in the fourth quarter. Wood with 15 for Florence. Stensrud 3 for 4 from the free throw line. 7 points, 2 by Kovacs, 7 by Yeoman, 6 by Lewis, 11 by Williams, 16 in the first, 13 in the second, 6 in the third, and 15 to wrap it up. So, but 4 of the Valkyries foul out, and that's really key. Got to have them at the end of the ball game. Your stats for Bigfork, as they'll play tomorrow. Take a look at these stats here momentarily. I'll get them up on your. Emma Beth had 9, 3 for Madison Chapias, 2 for Scout Nadu, 16 for Edgerton to lead the way, 3 for Santa Stevens on a 1 3-point shot. Only scored that in the first quarter, didn't score the rest of the way, and 7 by Ashton McInally, that big 3. 9 in the first, 5 in the second, 15 in the third. So a big third quarter to come back. Outscored them by 10, 15-5, and 11 in the fourth quarter. Got scored 15-11 as they made their run, but come up a little bit short. And don't forget the Valkyries will be in action tomorrow as they're at home as we host the Lady Trojans. Trojans and Lady Trojans, the Vikings and Valkyries at home. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll be on the PA tomorrow bringing you all the action. And next week, Tuesday, it is senior night for swim, wrestling, and speech and debate as the Vikings host the Ronan Chiefs that night. Before the varsity game, we will introduce those seniors. And then coming up, and the Valkyries will be on the road, taking on the road maidens down in Ronan. On Thursday, it's taking on Polson. Polson, the Lady Pirates. The Valkyries will be on the road down there. And the Vikings will be home taking on the Polson Pirates. And then coming up on Saturday, it will be senior night for the basketball players as they take on a conference matchup against the Lady Blue Hawks and Blue Hawks. Those can determine first place for both the Vikes and the Valkyries and their seeding going into the bowl season. The following week we'll have districts, depending, we'll announce what's going on there as well, and then divisionals. So we got the okay from the MHSA to broadcast divisionals. So if the game gets where you can't make it down to Hamilton for the games, we'll have all the live action for you on BFSD events for a divisional tournament in Hamilton, Montana. Your final from Florence, Montana, it's the Lady Falcons 50, your Bigfork Valkyries 40. We'll see you tomorrow in a Bigfork. And just to be advised, I will miss next Thursday's game and senior night as I'm going on vacation and be back for divisionals. So thank you once again for joining us and supporting Vikings and Valkyries basketball. The post game is brought to you by Bigfork Harvest Foods. All your grocery needs, go see Marcus Bagos, Kelly Bagos and the gang at Bigfork Harvest Foods. Got a lot of amazing food, deli, bakery, everything you want right there. 8111 Highway 35 at Bigfork, 837-5010. This is James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes Vals. Thanks for joining me this evening here from Florence, Montana. Thank you, and good night wherever you are.